What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and I have a really special guest, and I'm excited to have you here so we can welcome you to what we have going on here. But Commissioner Joseph Boschulte, who is the Commissioner for the U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism. So welcome. I know you've been here quite a bit. So
I've been in the city many times. I actually worked here 3 different times throughout my career. And, you know, I always appreciate coming to New York City. I love it in the summer because there's a different kind of energy.
Right.
In the summertime, you know, people are out. You know, fortunate to be staying right around Times Square, so it's super busy.
Right.
I think today is Yoga Day, International Yoga Day. So there's like yoga from 6 o'clock this morning.
So you were doing yoga this morning?
No, I was just listening to them tell people what to do.
I actually love yoga. I was telling somebody the other day, when it comes to like getting rid if you have any back pains or any type of like anything, yoga will cure all of that. And so, didn't know.
I need to try one of these days.
Yeah.
But it didn't move me today. So.
Okay, it didn't move you. All right, well, I want to talk about, you know, everybody saw that we were out in St. Thomas for Carnival.
Yes.
And I want to thank you because, honestly, between you and Ayana, who is working with you and contacted us to come out there, my friends and I were like, this is one of the best trips we've ever been on. One of my friends, Koya, said this was actually her favorite trip ever.
Nice.
You know,
Well,
and
we love to hear that.
We really did have a great time. And I've been to St. Thomas quite a bit, but I want to talk about the U.S. Virgin Islands overall first. So for people listening, right, for the U.S. Virgin Islands, you don't need a passport if you're coming from the United States because it's
if
part
you're a
of...
citizen and you're coming from the United States, no passport necessary.
Okay, and what are the islands that are included? Because, you know, we have the British Virgin Islands and then we have the U.S. Virgin Islands.
So the U.S. Virgin Islands, 3 main islands are St. Thomas, where you work for Carnival, St. John, where we have our celebration that's happening the last week of June into
4th of July.
4th of July. And then, of course, the biggest USVI is St. Croix.
Okay.
And that is where we have the celebration that happens right around New Year's.
All right. And so, and, you know, I was there during the pandemic, which was, for me, first of all, I didn't have my passport. Because I had to get it renewed, and it just wasn't happening during that time. And I was like, I have to go somewhere. And I've been to St. Thomas on a few occasions. I've been to St. John as well.
Nice.
And so I ended up going and spending a week in St. John. And it was really nice. And you guys did a great job, by the way, during COVID and during the pandemic. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was stressful in the sense that we knew our Governor Albert Bryan, he knew that right now 70% of our GDP is driven by direct or indirect tourism. So we knew when we shut down in March that we had to do something, and we just couldn't stay closed. So we had conversations with our health commissioner and the whole COVID team, and then we made an announcement that we were going to reopen. So he was like, Joe, you got to get out, see if the airlines are going to fly to us, see if the hotels are going to be ready, because, of course, we had to protect against the residents getting sick. And collectively, we all worked together. Worked out really, really well for us. So we opened in June of 20, and then we did extremely well, actually better than any of us thought, because people wanted, like you, wanted to get away.
We didn't have a passport. I want to go somewhere. And we definitely stayed, you know, we had a villa, so we definitely kind of stayed there, but we were able to venture out a little bit with our masks on and go sit outside places.
Yeah, so we work with our local hotels, villas, restaurants, bars to have protocols that allow people to come and get out if they wanted to. And that worked well. And then we had a portal that allowed people to have certain tests, COVID tests, to come in. And then when the vaccinations came out, you could show your vaccinations to get in. So it was well organized in terms of what was there. And then the most important thing that we found is people don't go on vacation to get sick. So people were coming and they were following what they had to follow.
Yeah, we are not playing those games.
No, you weren't coming on vacation to get sick. So
I'm not trying to have to isolate somewhere. Right.
So it worked out really, really well. We did extremely well in terms of our tourism product on a whole. I think it kept us up. And then we were fortunate enough that our numbers didn't spike like some of the other places in the U.S.
That's a blessing.
So
Following those protocols.
We had a couple of spikes like around busy times, Thanksgiving and Christmas time, but they weren't like totally out of control. And I think a lot of that had to do with, you know, people really following the protocols and people who got sick. You know, our team was ready to deal with them, on the healthcare side. And then, you know, as we continued to get more people vaccinated, that helped in terms of, you know, keeping the numbers down. And then throughout as we moved from, you know, the earlier stages of the COVID time, then we moved into to having the portal, and then we moved out of the portal as things changed. And we've been fortunate enough to be here in 2024, and our tourism product is doing extremely well. So thank you and everybody else that helps us promote. What a great vacation time you can have in the USVI.
One of my first vacations ever was to St. Thomas. And I know I told you this offline previously, but my best friend from college, Santi Gold, her family, they would rent a villa. It was like all the way on top of this mountain. Every year, they're like, you can come, just get your flight and come with us. And when I tell you, like, for me to have that as my first vacation, it was one of the most amazing experiences that I ever had. And I know I told you this before. We went to go to Greenhouse, and Greenhouse is still there. This was so long ago.
Still there.
But I just remember going to party at Greenhouse and having, like, the time of my life. Because there's one in St. Martin also, and then one in St. Thomas. And then the shopping in St. Thomas has always been amazing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we feel really good about is that we have places like the Greenhouse that's been around for decades that still offers the same laid-back island experience. Of course, the shopping still does really well, particularly on the cruise ship side. So lots of people come in, particularly to shop in St. Thomas, especially. And that's been working really well. And, of course, you mentioned the mountains, right? So we have lots of villas and houses on tops of mountains. I have a funny story with one of my old business school mates that came down with me one time. And we were in the Greenhouse, funny enough. And I was like...
It goes down.
I was like, dude, I'm getting ready to leave. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm going to get to the house. I was like, you know where the house is? He said, yeah, it's right up in the mountain. I'll just get there. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But...
He did.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
I ended up staying with him because the mountains in the night, you really don't know, especially if you don't know where you're going. But
one thing I do love about it, what you just said, it feels like very safe to me. And that's a big deal for me as a woman when I'm traveling. And I think about, like, where can I go where I'm not going to be like, I'm stuck on the resort. I can't go anywhere. When I go there, there's a lot of, we went to, what was the restaurant we went to, Ayana? It's a Black-owned restaurant. It was the Welcome Dinner. Rendezvous. Yes, we went to Rendezvous. When I tell you,
that's that was waterfront, right?
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we because we've been a big tourism destination for a long time, I think our residents respect tourist visitors because they understand how important it is to our economy. Secondly, and more importantly, we want tourists to be safe, right? Because if you're not safe, then it impacts the quality of life for all of us. So there's always this understanding of, with tourists, for the most part, leave them alone.
Yeah.
They help keep all of us living.
I mean, everybody was friendly though. I'll say that. Yeah.
And I think the third thing that we do is we respect your privacy. So people know you and they know of you. And if you want to engage, they'll engage. If you don't really want to engage or you're doing your own thing, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's Angela. Yo, she's so cool. And then they'll just kind of go about our merry business and let you have that.
I was doing a lot of engaging while I was out there because we were out. So first of all, I love the hotel that we stayed at. When I tell you, like, everything was perfectly planned and laid out for us. But we did go to Juve. And I know you were saying earlier that, like, I don't know how y'all do it to be out like that because we woke up at 5 a.m. to get up and go party all day. And it was like the hottest day. It was like 100 and something degrees. But I will say, like, just to see everybody outside, all different ages, everybody dressed however they wanted to dress. Even the people who were working and, like, cleaning the street, they were dancing and partying. I was like, okay, this is a total vibe. Like, it felt very, it felt very unifying for me to be able to, I launched the show. I've been working really hard. I haven't been on a vacation. And so when Randy up here at iHeart was like, would you be down to go to, St. Thomas Carnival? I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, that's great. Well, maybe we bring the way up down to the USVI next year.
Listen, I have plans. Trust me, Commissioner Joe, you're here for a reason. We have big plans.
Well, that sounds good.
I really like when I get to go somewhere and then I can, like, encourage people, because people will ask you, like, where's a good place to go on vacation? It was great for a girls' trip. Just for the ladies listening, my friends, there's some hot guys out here too. So they enjoyed themselves with that part. But what we did that I really loved was we went to St. John for the day and we went to Trunk Bay, which was voted the #1 beach in the world out of all the beaches. They had the top 50 beaches and Trunk Bay was #1 on that list.
Yeah, we're really proud of it. We have beautiful beaches all over the USVI. And St. John has probably the most pretty beaches in a small little island that I can think of. And I've traveled all over the Caribbean. And Trunk Bay is just one of them. I mean, I don't know how many beaches you went to when you went to St. John.
Just that one.
But next
we
time...
have to get back to Carnival.
Yeah, exactly. But next time we'll get you around on the boat so you could visit them from the water side and come into the beaches, which is a totally different experience than when you come from the land side and go to the beach and leave. But we're happy. Trunk Bay has been iconic for many, many years. If you look at some of the posters of the USVI over the years in magazines, Trunk Bay is the spot that they use a lot. From the underground museum to all of the other things that you have on the beach itself, and just the pure beauty of it. It still almost has that innocent feel when you go there, even though thousands of people go there every year.
And you've done a great job, you guys, of spacing out like the events. So, I was at St. Thomas Carnival, and right now in St. John, they're having the St. John celebration, right, which you were talking about earlier.
So that kicks off similarly, 6 days in the village, which is our nightly music festival that's free, where we have the best acts from around the world, soca, reggae. And then what we've added over the last year
Cast the band, Patrice Roberts, Dexter Dabbs, Bungie Garland, Richie Spice.
You got it. All of those we bring in.
Wyclef.
Wyclef is going to be in St. John. So so what we've been trying to do is, since we do these carnival events, and we're almost trying to make a music festival. So you have to really have different types of people. So we had DeVito in St. Croix last year. Now we got Wyclef. We had Shaggy in St. Thomas, who was a crossover artist.
So we had Shaggy.
So we've been doing it, and people. What it also does is it allows different kind of people from all sorts of race, religion, ages to come out, and like you mentioned in Juve, and just be a part of a vibe, and we love it. And
those white people were getting down too. I just want to say, I was on there. I got some videos. Those white people was losing their minds at Juve, but I did love to see it. It was all, like you said, all different kinds of people. They were young people. They were like little babies out on shoulders.
Well, we got to get that culture in you from early.
Listen, the kids were dancing. I was like, this is honestly like to feel like it's a family thing. It's everybody respecting each other. And I didn't feel like anything felt like something was about to go down. You know how we are. I'm from Brooklyn, so you see somebody push, all of a sudden everybody start. It was nothing like that.
No, I think that was one of the probably the proudest parts of this entire carnival. We didn't have any major violent incidents, and I give kudos to our legal team, our police departments, and all the planning, because we do have a philosophy which is to prevent. So we made sure that when you went out there, the law enforcement was all around.
I know. I tried to go to the bathroom. I was like, "You guys, no, we got you. You can't just walk around like that."
So the law enforcement was around, and that helps. And I think people also recognize that when you do act up at these big cultural events, that means that's it for you if you get caught, right? So
we know
people
who you are.
People just say, "Well, it's not worth it."
Because it is a good time. People are drinking, and sometimes that can lead to people have been drinking like all day from 5 a.m.
And as you mentioned, it was hot. So drinking in the sun doesn't help either. But I think there was also we also have the water trucks, right? So if you're not going to drink it, then we just spray you with water.
Yeah,
so
I saw that too. Nobody cared about their hair at this event, by the way. All right, and then let's talk about St. Croix, because that carnival is the last week of December, and it goes through January 5th. And by the way, my birthday is January 3rd.
Oh.
Just thought I'd put that out there. But what's happening for St. Croix? Because we talked about St. John, we talked about St. Thomas, but St. Croix is coming up next.
Yeah, that's a Cruise and Christmas Festival. Wonderful opportunity for people that are looking to spend New Year's somewhere different. So St. Croix is that place. We have the same type of nightly events with world-class acts every night for free for you to come out to see in our village.
My favorite word.
There's a Juve that happens, which is, for the people that may not know, that's where the bands go out and play on trucks, and people tramp or dance along the trucks. And
tramp don't mean nothing good here. They dance.
They dance. They dance up this the quote unquote route, and then of course we have our parades. And I think you were in the parade, and the parade where everybody gets dressed and they wear their costumes and they dance and have fun for like 4 or 5 hours.
It felt longer than that. And I just want to point out, and not to call you out, Commissioner Joe, we were outside walking on that street, and then we stopped at your office. It was nice air conditioning. You looked very cool. I was like, how come Commissioner Joe is not out here in his costume?
Oh, I had my years of that back in the day. So I'm past that now. I got an excuse now. I'm working. I got to oversee everything.
But no, you're right. That was honestly like so much fun, just walking along and everybody's dancing and having a good time. It was wild. I don't know if I could do the whole route. I think like we got to start.
But it's like everything else. You
Yeah.
got to build up. So
Yeah,
you did
gotta,
St.
like,
Thomas. So
build
by
up
the
my
time you get to
endurance.
St. Croix and then back to St. Thomas, you'll be a proven fetter all around.
Now, the other thing I saw, I book a lot of my travel also on Expedia, and Expedia.com also ranks St. Thomas the #1 trending domestic summer destination.
Yeah, that was another huge win for us. To be in all of these destinations that people could go to. We actually were #1 for the world, #1 domestic. But we were very happy. It goes to show the work that our team's been doing. People have been following. We've been very focused on how we market and who we market to. And what we've seen is people really appreciating the opportunity to go to the USVI, because people could go anywhere to vacation, right? It's your money. You decide where you want to go.
Yeah.
And people have been coming to the USVI, and then to have Expedia, who, we know the thousands of people that book a day on Expedia now, to say, hey, when they're searching, like St. Thomas is popping up, St. Thomas is popping up. So we feel really good about it. What I can tell you is our summer so far has been very impressive. Our flights are coming in full. The cruise ships are coming in full. So USVI is really trending in the right direction. And that's why we continue to try to find people like you who've been there before, but to come back now and share with people the experiences. Because I think a lot of us, when we travel, particularly for vacation, we always want that inside track, right? So
Yes.
you been there before? Did you like it? How'd you like
I
it?
need a little hookup. Where do I go? Where should
do you
I be
go? How do
going?
you
What are the
do?
best restaurants?
And I think that's been helping us a lot. And I think we also have had, we've been moving our brand into more national big places. So we have a deal with the New York Jets.
I
and
see.
we're in
I
the
saw you
Mets
were at
Light.
the game.
Yeah,
in the,
so we're
in
in the Mets
suite.
Light,
Okay.
and then we do the same thing in the Boston area with the Red Sox.
Wait,
and
now
in the
hold on, slow down. New York and Boston?
Yeah, well, different
gotta-
sports. With different sports.
Okay, I just got to make sure because you know how we feel about that.
Celtics just won the other night.
Okay, sir, we didn't ask. Okay,
Oh,
listen.
sorry. but
New
so
York and Boston have a rivalry.
I know they
just
do.
so
I
you
know they do. I
Okay.
see it. I feel it when I'm
But,
around.
okay.
But we do it because we fly
Yeah.
jets in for more than just the tri-state area. So
Okay.
we got to do a little something
I
in
can
Logan
accept that.
and from O'Hare, and those partnerships have really helped us take our brand to a completely different level, because now people see us in this, and they see us affiliated with very loyal fan bases. So the Jets, of course, have a very loyal fan base. Hopefully this year Aaron Rodgers plays more than 4 snaps.
Right. If not, he can go hang out in St. Croix.
That's what we'll take him down there after the season.
And speaking of getting there, right, the flight situation, I feel like that's also something that is particularly easy for us to be able to do. So let's talk about getting to, because really I always fly into St. Thomas. Right, when we go to St. John, and I learned this. I don't know if you told me this, but last time I took the car on the ferry.
Right.
I don't recommend that. Okay, if you drive like I do, I was so scared because you have to like back the car. But
do.
it's good to have the car.
It is
when you get there, but you can. Somebody was like, just rent a car when you get to St. John next time.
Yeah, it is an experience when they back you up onto the barge in these tiny little spaces. And
They don't back. You got to back yourself up.
You back yourself
and it
up.
was too much of a pressure situation for me. Like,
because people are watching you.
yeah, they're watching you, and they're like, "Go ahead," and then you got to go over to. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't want to hit a car because it's like packed and tight."
It's tight. But we have flights in from the tri-state area, from Newark and JFK, less than 4 hours in. Of course, we fly from Logan in Boston and Atlanta and Charlotte, and multiple flights a day from
Orlando.
Miami.
Koya flew in from Orlando.
People
Yep.
we come in from Orlando. Into St. Croix from Atlanta and Orlando and
So there's
Fort
direct
Lauderdale.
flights to St. Croix too.
Yeah, direct flights into St. Croix too. So there are easy ways to get in. As you mentioned in the beginning, there's no passport necessary. So we know when we take a guy's trip or you take a family trip or a girl's trip, there's always that one person that doesn't have their passport. Like, oh yeah, I think I got to renew it, and then you got to change now. But once you come to the U.S. Virgin Islands, that's not an issue.
There's nothing worse than when when you look at your passport and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize my passport was about to expire or is expired. So yes, that's a relief to not have to think about that. Whew. All right, and then I want to ask you this, just for my own knowledge, no real reason. Recreational marijuana. Where are we with that in the
Well,
U.S. Virgin Islands?
Well, we probably have our fair share of recreational marijuana that's not legal yet, right? Happening in the islands.
Because people need to know, because, I want people to know when you're traveling, you need to know what the rules are, because it's been legal in so many places.
But it is legal for medicinal now, and our governor has been a strong proponent to get it to be on the recreational side. So we have lots of rules and regulations. It's working its way through the process. I think that especially what's going on now in the world, and people are finally now appreciating the medicinal benefits of cannabis that probably were around for a long time, but we just, for whatever reasons, the legal system didn't allow for it to be used where it is now. So we do have it. It's in place. I think it's a hope, excuse me, that one of the things that came out of it was that it could help the tourism piece in a niche market space, that people come in, they know they could get
Go to
quality legal cannabis. So it's in play.
Okay.
We're not where we thought we would be probably 3 years ago, but the good thing is just a couple months ago they brought in a new director to market. They brought in some pieces, fill out the board. So the steps necessary to at least get it to the place where it can be legal are happening.
Okay, good, because nothing like being in your villa.
Yep.
Relaxing. All right. And then I also see that you guys have this Tech Beach conference happening. So talk to me about that, because I think that's something that's going to be amazing, and it's focused on AI.
Yeah, so that's going on right now. I think it started, I think the opening reception was last night.
And this is the first time they've done this? Okay.
In the USVI, yes. And it's this group of people that are basically big into tech. And, of course, AI is one of the hot pieces of that space right now. And they bring all of these incredible minds together, and they work by day thinking about how they're going to make all of us smarter, I guess. And then at
make
night
our
they
lives
hang
easier.
Right. And then at night they enjoy what we have to offer as a Caribbean destination. So from what I heard, it seems to be going well. They texted me last night to say it was pouring rain, but they moved inside and the party didn't stop.
It was pouring rain when we were there, but we still had fun.
Yeah.
I will say it was pouring, but it'll rain for like 20 minutes.
And then stop.
And we still had still have a time.
Yeah, so so from that standpoint, the Tech Summit, and we've been doing really well with a lot of these conferences that have been coming in now. People coming in. They enjoy themselves. They're staying at the same property that you stayed at when you were down.
Oh, and the food was amazing there too.
Food was amazing. So they're doing it. I think it's good for us in the sense too that they wanted to come to the USVI. So they've been hearing about the USVI. They've been seeing about USVI. And then the other thing for us as a tangent type business is we want people to come and see and then think about, hey, I could have a second home. I could come back here with my family. I could do these things, because that's the other side of having a good time, is then you start to figure out, no, man, this might be my
destination.
My destination to come, and then you get to retirement age, it might be someplace to think about. And all of these things happen with that first seed planted of you actually going there and liking it, right? Because we know what happens if you go and you don't like it, then you don't go back. But if
you tell
like
everybody don't go.
Exactly.
And it's also true that you can like a place or not like a place depending on who you go with. Because I've had people not like and I've been like, oh my God, I have so much fun, I love it there. And then I've had people be like, I can't stand it. I'm like, come with me and we'll have a good time.
Well,
and I do think it really does matter a lot who you're with, and who, like you said, people also want the inside track.
What they do, that's why when people tell me, oh my gosh, Commissioner, I had my honeymoon here. I say, you still married? Yeah. Because that would determine whether or not you like it.
Somebody was with us. Oh, I'm not going to say who, but they were like, the last time I came here was with my husband. I ain't with him no more.
Exactly.
And but it's like recreating something new and like setting the groundwork for you to really love some place and get rid of those old memories.
Exactly. Or create some new ones.
Yeah, create some new ones. You know what I'm saying? Now, what was it like for you? Where did you grow up?
I grew up on St. Thomas. So
okay, what was that like?
I was great. I mean, it's interesting. I have two kids. And most of the time when I grew up, everything was outside. So all the fruits and being in the yards and playing ball outside, that's what we did. And the sun and the heat was all part of the experience growing up in the Caribbean. So it's interesting now when I talk to parents who tell me, it's too hot outside for those kids. I was like, are you kidding me?
That's when I was a kid.
Exactly. So we have those conversations. But it was truly that village experience. So all your friends' parents knew who you were. It was those days that you got in trouble in school. Your parents would probably know you got in trouble in school before you got home to tell them. That's how connected we were as a community. And I think even now, we still have a lot of that because we're small. We only have 45,000 people in St. Thomas, St. John, 45,000 people in St. Croix. So we're tiny in terms of the ability to have your kids know each other. So even if you are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, your kids probably play some kind of sport or in some kind of art or some kind of dance because we're just tiny. And I think that helps. I think the other part that growing up was that we always had this understanding that people like us were always the ones in power.
Right. I love that.
So we grew up, the governors, the senators, that's who we saw, the commissioners of tourism, for example, that I do right now. We were always the ones. So it always had that, you had that
Limitless,
beacon to
like
tell
I
you
can
that
do.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do it. I can always do it. And even from the athletic side, that's one of the things we always like when athletes come in. We always want them to talk to the kids so they could tell the kids, let them know where they came from and what they're doing and how they got where they got too. And that's what we like to have happen. So, born and raised in St. Thomas, still live in St. Thomas.
I know that's right.
Spent a lot of time in the U.S., the continental U.S., but St. Thomas is where.
And your background is in business, government, finance. What goes into being the commissioner of tourism?
Well, it's interesting. My former career was investment banking. That's how I was in New York.
Okay.
And then, I moved out to move
Because I would
back.
imagine finance is so important when it comes to...
It is, and it's different, right? So, people ask me all the time now, hey, you going back into banking? I was like, no, I like pretty pictures now. I'm staying in marketing. I'm not leaving. So it's totally different. And then, career evolved. I did higher ed for a while, and then I was in high finance. And then I got into... I used to run the big cruise ship facility in the USVI. I was a CEO, president there. And then from there, I was like, hey, I like to tell people how, they need to have a good time. That's a good job to have. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
Well, I love that. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I know every time you come here, your schedule is packed. But I definitely wanted to make sure you came through for our audience because I had such an amazing time when we all went to St. Thomas, when we went to St. John, when we were in the U.S. Virgin Islands. My friends and I, honestly, I needed that. It was like a celebration for me, and so to be able to be part of Carnival, thank you so much for welcoming.
Well, thank you. I think I made it now. I made it to way up. I guess the next step is to get on the podcast.
Oh, you want to do lip service?
No, boy,
okay,
not yet.
Well,
Not yet. I don't think I got to be out of this job first. But I do watch it, and I love to. I was telling
maybe
Ayanna
we can do it out there.
Yeah, we could do it. I was telling Ayanna when I watch it. I always crack up when I watch some of the comments and the conversations. So it's good. So thank you for having me, and thank you for visiting the USVI, and hopefully we can get you back down.
Absolutely. And Mano definitely wants to come. His family's from St. John, from St. Thomas and St. Croix. So.
Oh, excellent. So we got to get him in, and what I could tell you is when your social media posts went up, people that I know from all over the world, and you say like, "Oh man, how you get Angela Yee down there? How did you get Angela Yee?"
Like, we gave her a free room.
Your social media team is working. Social media stuff is working. So keep doing what you're doing.
But honestly, I know I get that I'm always super busy, but I'm glad that I made time for that for myself and for anybody listening. I know a lot of times we feel like we got to work all the time, but it is important to rest, take care of yourself. That was the perfect place for us to be able to kick back and do that. And even though going to Carnival and Juve was a flurry of activities, it was really fun. It was relaxing. Everybody felt so comfortable, so protected, just being in that space. So thank you so much for creating such a great environment for us.
Thank you.
See you for my birthday.
Yeah, January 3rd. I got the date. We got it.
Commissioner Joe, thank you.
Thank you.